Hey guys, we are back. Sorry, we had a freak power outage with Jimmy hosting our call, so Skype just died all of a sudden. But we're back, and I think we're gonna be fine. So we'll dive back into it.
Yeah. So what had you asked her, Caven?
We were talking
Uh,
about like her journey up here, kind of from Platinus, and then you went silent somewhere. I think I asked. I
yeah,
think I asked like, oh, like the Cien elves wouldn't help a fellow elf out or something.
yeah. So she says no. It seems they were turning away all refugees, and well, they tried to shunt me over to those well, hmm, ruffians over in Revenant, and well, they're not my type of elf, you know. But
They
yes,
are a
they.
different type of elf.
Yeah, I know exactly. Uh, you'd think they'd be able to spot one of their own when you're in their country, but no. Apparently they pushed me up north, and while I had been looking for you and followed the stories and went to Cien proper, it was nice to visit, if only for a short time. And then yes, I went on my way north, and hmm, it it was a tough journey.
Yeah, I mean we. It was tough along on the roads for us.
Luckily, I had enough money saved up that they let me in here and didn't leave me outside with all of the human rabble.
Oh, that's right. The what's the word? Refugee tax they have going.
Yes, well, it's it's quite unfortunate, but I'm glad I'm in here with you. Um, what are your plans? What are you looking for in the near future? I'm you mentioned that you were finding some plants or
Yes, it's a long story, and without getting into much details, we are delivering said materials up to damn it, the capital, Ariadnish capital.
oh, um, well, I've always been interested in seeing the capital. I hear the great temple to Palor is quite impressive. The Tower of the Gods is supposed to be a an impressive landmark. Um, One of the tallest buildings next to Revenant, of course, the fortress
Hmm.
city. It would be great to see it together. If um
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
actually, we do have some other travelers with us, and I think that would be perfectly acceptable, and it give us some time to figure out some of our own stuff.
Yes, of course. I'm
I mean, I don't want to lie to you. It's dangerous. We just last night, 2 nights ago, we got accosted by some living tree things we had to kill.
living tree things?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. I think it was some scam to get money, but we ended up killing them or destroying them. I don't know if they were alive.
Ah, well, I would feel safer traveling with you, if nothing else. Um, Excellent. I want to take some time to get to know you too. I realize this is sudden. I tried to write, but like I said, well, yes, I think some time together would be a good idea.
I would like that.
And excellent. How's the stew? Um, and I think as we look over, we hear, you're eating some stew, and you hear familiar voice singing. So yeah, Nina, you finished up your first song, and were talking to the elves that were there. Um, so so yeah. So Ilya kind of looks at you and says, "So, where did you learn to sing like that?"
Uh, oh, 1 second. Oh, it's been a while since I actually had to look at notes.
Well, I mean, Nina's got amnesia, so does she remember?
It's always
I
happening
mean,
to
she was
James.
singing back before she left on her journey at the place
Okay.
that I mentioned.
Yeah. So like the temple where you were being rehabilitated?
Well, that I was helping out. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So like what answer do you kind of give her?
I'm
Just
trying to
sort of
think
walk
of.
you there.
It was in a neighboring town, Travis. So I don't actually know the town's name.
Sure. So what do you say? Just some like little town somewhere?
Yeah, I insert the name of the town that I was dropped at. That I'm sure you'll come up with in due time.
Sure. Yeah. So you say some place, and she's like, "Oh, I haven't heard of that, but I haven't been well, traveling outside of the area much recently. Hmm. Are you from Taurus or Palatinus? I imagine it's one of the human kingdoms, right?
I'm not sure to be honest.
You're not sure where you're from.
No, I'm. Hey, it's as weird as it is. I'm sort of suffering from amnesia.
She how would she take that? She looks at you askance and is like, "Oh, right. I see. And you need some help from a cleric. And of course such a thing costs a lot of money. Yes,
Um,
I see.
no,
Amnesia, I
no,
haven't heard
I've.
that one before.
No, it's just I'm traveling with my friends. It's like I left on a journey like
It's a
roughly
good
6 months
story.
ago.
I'm sure you can make some extra coin with that.
I just like look at it blankly like, no, I just do this to have fun. My friend's the one who actually plays to make money.
Oh, so you tell the amnesia story to fuck with people. Well, that's
No.
nice.
I just like seriously look at her like, seriously, lady, no.
Okay.
I mean,
You give her a bit of an eye, and she kind of raises her head. Well, if you wouldn't mind, she kind of looks you up and down. Princess, I think we'll be playing next. And she, as the gnome's finishing up his song, she kind of walks over and gives him a bit of a shove and says, "Out of the way, shorty." And yeah, she and her male friends start playing some music, and she starts singing another ballad. This one you don't recognize at all.
I'm almost tempted to sabotage her in some way, but I'm gonna let this one slide. So I think it
Okay.
would make an issue for this little gnome, and I don't want to get him into strife.
Okay, so yeah, what do you do? Like, how does Nina kind of close out her night?
Oh, do I see anyone familiar at all?
Nope.
Yeah, if you look around, you spot Caben at a table with some woman you don't recognize. Other than that, you look around at, Buck's gone, and it seems Durian is staying up in his room for now.
Cloistered.
Cloistered.
Okay, so I see Caven with someone. That's interesting, because no way you never see him with anyone. Ever. I might add.
Well, he was with someone at least once.
Apparently. But Nina doesn't know this. I just, like, pay attention to who she is, and then I sort of shrug. And I guess I'll go upstairs.
Okay, so you call it a night?
Sort of. I more or less wait for people to rock back up stairs, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
You hide outside of people's doors.
Yeah. No, she trips him with the scythe and then beats him unconscious and takes her lunch money.
I mean, I could do that. but that
You
seems a
could.
little
You
bit
could
like-
be very successful doing that.
Taking
For
their
one-
That
lunch.
seems just a little That just seems a little excessive, though. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're gnomes, Dina can just lift them with one hand and sort of shake the coins out.
Oh, cool. So the next time that crappy little gnome it costs us, I can just lift it up with one hand and have the deck out. Like,
Yep,
Okay.
you probably could. So yeah, Durian.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
So I'll keep that in mind the next time that gnome comes back
Yep.
up. We'll just break his neck.
Probably a viable strategy. So Durian, were you doing anything else tonight, or were you just kind of chilling in your room?
Well, now I'm
Rating.
interested in identifying the amulet. What did I showed Walter the jewels on it. What did he think? He kinda cut away
yeah,
at that
that's
moment.
right. Thank you. No, I think he did recognize something. So, okay, and all right, cool. Yeah. So I think as we cut away from you, he had seen the amulet, and he's like, "Oh my, well, that's a very interesting piece. I haven't seen that style before. Is that it doesn't look dwarvish, but usually they have a great joy working larger bits of metal in with this jewelry. That ruby in the center, impressive. I mean, that could be 300 gold loose in an interesting piece like this. Hmm. And he's like, the top ruby is large but unpolished, and you can see the black spots in it. It means it's not pure. It wouldn't be right for faceting like the bottom one.
Travis, remind me where we came by these two items. Was it in the dragon's lair?
Yeah. I think that there is. I guess it's been a long time. So you found the gauntlets, which are a bit damaged, by the
No,
way.
I've got that noted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you found the gauntlets when you were investigating the surface ruins of, like a castle or a keep of some kind out in the plains.
Before we met the rat people, yes.
Yeah. So you had found them in some
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah,
It
in
was
like
hard
a
to tell,
collapsed chest or something like that.
Yeah, but shortly after you found those, you fought some ghosts or specters, and then there were scorpion people, and got separated from Buck, and shit just went haywire. And then the amulet you found along with some armor and weapons inside a gelatinous cube.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah,
That
so-
unfortunate incident.
Yeah, so when you were like picking through the armor after the thing, lost cohesion and spilled out into various pools of enzymes, you found the amulet along with the pieces of armor, anything organic like leather or any remains of whoever was wearing
can
it gone.
Can I cast a quick detect magic spell and see if the unpolished stone, the impure one, is the source of power emanating, or if it's just the whole piece?
So you've confirmed that the whole piece is magical.
Okay.
Like it's an item in.
I say, well, Walter, it is impure, but it is important to the whole. See, this piece we found deep underground in ruins in the spell-scarred plains.
Oh, yeah, so this is one of the magical things you want to look at. It's not just jewelry.
Right, I was
see why
interested
you're
in.
not touching it, and he like pulls back a little.
That's well, I don't know about perfectly safe, but if you don't touch it, it should be fine. I picked it up with my bare hands originally, and nothing untoward happened. But one can't be too.
Was that
cautious with these
before or
things.
after the?
It's actually right around the same time.
He like steps back a pace.
Regardless, it came. It's old. I know that it came amongst other goods, armor, and battered pieces of no value, but that were certainly very old. So, and in my line of work, things such as this There might be beautiful gems, but often it's the combination of the pure and the impure that imbue things with power.
Yes, yes. If it's a magical thing as a whole, then prying out any of the gems would likely destroy whatever properties it has.
But the piece doesn't mean anything to you though. The spider or whatever it is.
I can't say it does. It's
Oh,
a
that's fine.
it's a fetching look though. If you're hoping to adopt it, I'm not sure it would blend with the and he like points out, jabs a finger at your armor with the flowers. I think it would not mesh very well. I think it
It's
would.
a shame
clash.
I like this armor so much because flowers don't go with anything.
Oh, I don't know. The elegant sword that your friend Buck, the red-haired one,
Mm-hmm.
would look quite fetching with the flowers. Though
Well, that
after
elegance-
seeing what it did to the wood things, I can see why he would be loath to part with it.
See, in our line of work, and what I'm hoping you will come join me in, and or at least learn about as we head towards my holdings, is that style and practicality are often at odds.
Yes, well, if it's a magical thing of some power, who cares what the hell it looks like? It might help you survive wooden, tree, log things better.
Well,
He sort of like shrugs and says the piece as a whole would probably be worth 700 gold, 850 to a very interested buyer. That were if it were non-magical. As far as what it's actually worth with any extra properties, I would have to defer to you, my lord.
could you do me a favor and take this gold piece and go downstairs and acquire a bottle of wine for me?
Of course.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Walter. I know you're not a servant to us, but I can't really go out right now.
No, I would rather you not be seen, my lord, until restored to your proper look. By the way, was it the red hair or the wavy blonde hair? You've worn a few faces recently.
Red.
Or they're them your real? Oh, that is what you normally look.
Pretty ruggedly handsome, don't you say? I miss it.
Ah.
It's been a long
Yes, my
time
lord,
since I've
it's,
worn that face.
It's a respectfully improvement over the present condition.
No insult taken. Now get me the damn bottle of wine. I'm gonna need it.
I dare say, sir. And he bows out.
So while he's gone, just real quick, I'd
Yeah.
like to assess my condition. Like, look over myself. Am I getting better still? Like,
Yeah, so you had your fur falling out a bit earlier this day. So you seem to be getting better. The muzzle's shorter, the whiskers are shorter. Part of your tail dried up and cracked off. It was not painless. But yeah, you seem to be improving. Whatever thing has affected you seems to be lessening.
ooh, I need a drink.
Yeah, so after a short time, Nina, you see Walter come downstairs, and go to the bar, order a bottle of what looks like wine, and it looks like he's just gonna go back upstairs. Do you stop and talk with him, or?
No, but I'll follow him.
Okay, yeah, he grabs
So,
the
obviously, Durian's up to something.
yeah. So
Like
you
if there's
see
a bottle of wine involved, Durian's up to something.
Yep. You see him go upstairs. As you walk onto the kind of landing, he is opening the door. He kind of sees you and stops, and then recognizes it's you and oh, hello Nina. And he quickly opens the door and goes in.
Yep. Thanks. Durian, you in there?
Occupied.
Yeah, and after a second, Walter comes to the door, kind of cracks it open. I think he needs some time with wine. Is there something you need from Lord Durian?
Well, normally when there's a bottle of wine involved, he's up to something, and that has me scared.
Oh, Travis. I misspoke, didn't I?
What's that?
He thinks I'm a lord. Isn't Sir...
He's been using Lord and Sir.
Okay,
like
good.
he's kind of unsure. You haven't kind of corrected him one way or the other.
Got it,
He's
okay.
been using both.
Okay. Well, I hear Lord Durian, and I call out, "Just Sir Durian, Walter, shut the door, please."
Apologies, my sir, and says, "Good night, Nina." And he closes the door, and you hear a chunk as a key turns in the lock.
Walter.
I just gotta raise my eyebrow and just be like, he's definitely up to something.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to do it? You don't have to hang out with me in here. I obviously can't go out, but if you need to see the city, make any shopping arrangements, if I can tell you anything about us that you're curious about to shore up your business interests, if you know what I mean, so you know what you're getting yourself into, to be confident about our path ahead.
If you wouldn't mind, my sir, you mentioned a document confirming your appointment as lord or title holder over some lands.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I produced the deed to Titan's Hill.
Okay. Yeah. So he unrolls it and starts reading it. And can you give me a diplomacy or persuasion check? Just to kind of so what this is for is to sort of see what kind of relationship you've established with him so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to see kind of
so
well
it would be diplomacy. There is no persuade. So
yeah, I'm
yeah. You were just saying it's one of those two.
yeah.
24.
24. Yeah, so he examines it and nods and says, "Do you know what kind of settlement is around Titan's Hill? It's an impressive name, I must admit, but well, some places are given impressive names despite their less than impressive nature."
I don't have recent information on it. I'm told it's well connected, but perhaps a bit rugged.
Ah, so we would be establishing a new foothold.
I would assume that there's some holdings there, a village of some sort, but
Yes,
I have-
it specifically mentions a rulership of the lands and the gentry therein. So there are some people you're the lord of, it seems, or the landed knight. It would depend on how the nobility see themselves. And he rolls it back up and hands it back to you. Keep that very safe, by the way. Such documents are, well, in my experience, they are more valuable than gold, and the seals therein can make or break a man's life.
I'll be honest with you, Walter. I came from high and low stock, but was raised at a crossroads, you may say, in a trading post. Made my way up from the world from there, and came by this deed by accomplishments alone, and I would not expect the people or anyone who follows me to... Jesus, what am I becoming? Like, Durian has a moment where he's just like...
Okay.
Shakes it off and says, I wouldn't expect anybody to carry false pretenses or expect... I wouldn't go into these people, say, in Titan's Hill and expect them to suddenly worship their new lord. I mean, look at this. Look at the list of names here. They've probably never seen any of these people who are their supposed rulers. It's a rightful deed, and I intend to make something of it that that's something bigger than the land itself.
Yeah, he nods and says, "Well, if you'll excuse me, my lord, I think that's a terrible idea. I think that I greatly trust. I greatly appreciate the trust you've shown in me to tell me this. But I would, if it were me, play up the nobility side of noble and ignoble stock, and I've dealt with a lot of lords, my lord, and even the ones that come from humble beginnings tend to play up their less humble side. People are only as impressed by you as they think they need to be, and, well, if you want to become someone greater than simply one who owns the land, but one who rules it, perhaps you'll want to think about creating a sigil, developing a house name. Not that Lord Burr is anything to sneer at. Perhaps you'll want to think about how you wish to portray yourself to these people, because that is how they'll see you. They won't know of your past deeds, except what you tell them. They won't know of your foibles and faults, except what they observe. You could very well improve these people's lot in life.
Walter, you're not wrong. I will tell you this much, though, that for as much as I've played before I was worthy of the title, a trumped-up noble, and know how to walk the part well, I have given good advice to kings that has been turned down and has led to countless losses of lives in the South.
He snorts and says, "Kings are idiots."
But they are kings nonetheless.
Yes.
I have gone toe-to-toe with the good and the bad. I have faced down the Council of Cienne. Some portions, anyway. Escorted, kidnapped noble women. I've seen them at their best and worst, and I don't know what is worth emulating anymore. Or rather, what is truly worth emulating and what is merely a show, a dumb show.
Sometimes even the dumbest shows, my lord, get applause. And he says, "If you don't mind, I'll leave you to your ruminations. I want to look around and see if there are any interested pearl buyers, if you don't mind, my lord."
Please
and
do.
you can tell he's making it a point of not calling you a sir and calling you a lord.
Certainly, Walter, I don't know your surname.
Few of us who are born from ignoble stock have one. I have no exalted family to lay claim to. I was an apprentice with a good eye, and
Very well. Walter, Mr. Walter. And I give him a little smile. Walter, just I'm stuck here and I'm usually got the one with my ear to the ground, so just what you hear about town. Rumors and whatnot from the merchants and passers-by. Would love to hear of it.
I always keep my ears open, my lord.
I'll make sure that we have a suitable arrangement set up in here for when you get back.
Excellent. And he bows and unlocks the door. And
Yeah, and I nod, but I sort of give him a little.
Yep. Yeah, he heads out. And I think as he leaves, we zoom back in on dinner at 100 Ways to Quinoa. And yeah, you and Shoshana are seated, Buck. And you're going through kind of the opening course, which is a very nice salad, light vinaigrette.
Oh God. Buck is struggling hardcore with silverware. Like,
Yeah.
God, I don't even remember the last time I had to use silverware that wasn't a spoon for soup. So yeah, it would be like that awkward, like, how do I cut things again? Do I cut salad or no? Which piece of silverware do I take? Is that my drink or is that hers? How do I put the butter on my plate first, or how does this? I take little bit.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is so complicated. Good
Yeah,
thing we're
so-
not using chopsticks.
Yeah, so how are you making your way through that? Are you like observing what she does first, or
So I'd probably be doing a lot of like using my ranger senses to be like, let me glance around the room to survey how everything looks, but also see.
no, I love this. I
What do
love
her
the fact
elf eyes
that
see?
you're like studying the restaurant as though looking for clues to where game has gone. So like give me a perception check to see if you can spot the game trail of how to navigate the dinner table. I love that idea.
It's
I
plus
just find it
11.
funny, Travis. Oh dear.
20, non-natural.
All right. Yeah, not bad. So I mean, it's a little dark in here. The tables are candlelit, but you're kind of glancing over at a table, not the next table to your left, but one past them, and you can see the woman there. Like they sat down at the same time you did, so it seems they're on the same portion of dinner.
Okay,
and you
good.
see the woman start from her outside with the fork and knife. And it seems like as they're going, she's sort of working her way in with the silverware. And she
Good.
seems to be cutting her salad very daintily. So you're like kind of glancing over and maybe emulating that?
Yeah. Probably a little bit more dainty than a man normally would be, but I'm an elf, so it's a good enough excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be trying to mimic this lady's way of doing it, and just like Allison in real life struggles with it, I'll try you cut like this, and then you eat with your or at least in my case, with a non-dominant hand, like you actually put the food in your mouth that way. So like I struggle with that in real life. So Buck would just be like.
So it's funny because apparently I eat like a Viking. I don't put my knife down, and I just knife in the non-dominant hand, shovel, knife, shovel. That's how I eat.
You're supposed to eat it that way, just not shovel it. But like normally, what I do is I cut it and then I set the knife down, switch the fork back into my dominant hand, and then eat it. So apparently, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. But either way, Buck would be attempting to do it the fancy way.
Okay. Yeah. So I think
Okay.
Shoshana. Yeah. She comments like, "Oh, I must say, Buck, I'm impressed. Well, it seems all elves teach their children proper manners." She says, "So, how are you enjoying the salad?"
Well, it's definitely much better than probably anything I've had in the past many months.
Really? I imagine trail rations get very old after a while.
I mean, once you get used to them, they're not too bad, especially after you're just tired of days of traveling or fighting. You don't really think about it, but this is nice. I haven't had anything like this in a very long time.
Well, I'm glad you wanted to come along with me. Do you have any plans after you reach Ariadnish? The Stavrofor mentioned you had some business there with the letter and some other things.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about going back home.
Right away?
Perhaps. It really depends. My family wrote a note. Durian and I discussed it. We decided that it seems to say that I'm perhaps wanted back home for festivities, birthdays and things.
Yeah,
and
so-
Buck is
so
trying
are
to
you-
cover up like the fact that Buck will be
Yeah.
fine soon and should probably go, and also not trying to hint at that he can't read.
Yeah. So you, as you're kind of stammering, so correct me if I'm wrong. Are you lying here? I
Yes.
don't remember.
Yes.
No. Okay,
Yeah,
you're straight up lying.
I'm just straight up lying to her.
Yeah. Can
like-
can you give me a deception check?
Oh, this ought to go well.
Ooh.
Like bluff check?
Yes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ooh, this should be interesting.
Yeah.
14. That's
Okay.
not the
Wow.
worst.
That's not the worst. Yeah,
This is
so
pretty good.
she kind of frowned and says, "Oh, I thought the group was traveling north. You're not going with them."
I'm not sure. That's the thing. I think it really depends on if and when I receive an additional letter from my family, and going from there. If they need me, they need me, and it's been quite a while since I've seen them. Perhaps a year, maybe more, maybe 2 at this point. It's hard to keep track of time.
Yes, I know elves are longer lived, but I don't know. I felt like perhaps your current group needed you, especially with your prowess on the battlefield. You really seem to save all of our hides the last time, and well, I'm sure they would be very unhappy to see you go.
I'm sure I would be very sad to go as well, but you do what you must when your family needs you.
Of course.
I'm sure you understand.
Yes, I'm
Then
going to
turn
visit
left.
my family in the capital. But after that, I wasn't sure where I was going to go. A lot of times, young priests at my level tend to travel the world and try and spread the word of Paylor around, as well as, well, gaining experience and insight.
As one should as they get older.
Of course. So I don't know. I was going to ask Sir Durian what his plans were and if he wouldn't mind someone accompanying him, but well.
I'm
And-
sure Dorian would love having someone accompany him. I mean,
My God, this entourage I've got now.
he
Jesus.
does well with people following him. He enjoys talking a lot about
Yes,
stuff.
I've noticed. But you're usually so quiet. I guess that's
I
that's
take
why I
a couple
like you
sips of my
better.
drink and I'm just like,
yeah, so she says, I guess that's why I like you better. Like, how do you respond?
I drink my
Sip.
drink and look awkwardly around like, oh god, what have I done?
Yeah, so she kind of like takes a cue and says, I'm sorry, if that was too forward. Oh look, the rabbit's here, and they like pick up your salad plates and set down a
Oh, thank God.
roast rabbit, with some like some fennel and some pureed whatever. I'm completely blank. Parsnips. God, I could not think of the thing.
You need some
But yeah,
quinoa,
so
though,
Sounds
right?
good.
Pureed parsnips and of course some quinoa.
Yeah.
The parsnips are on the quinoa, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like this is like if the chefs had rolled a check to see how tasty this meal would be, it would be like way up there. And
Yeah.
it is making me, Allison, hungry.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the chefs are always taking 10, but they have some mad skills in cooking. So
Yeah.
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 So yeah, you guys start tucking into dinner, and I guess you're kind of busy eating for a while, and yeah, do you try and keep conversation going?
Probably as awkwardly as possible.
Okay.
Like Buck is just not one to make idle conversation for a very
Sure.
long period of time. Like it's okay for like a half hour, but this would probably be like an hour and a half, and it's just like, touching on taboo topics, like,
Okay.
tell me about your family, and tell me a little bit about your religion, and what do you think about spell control, and
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
walls.
No. So you like hit the first couple topics, and she tells you about her family, like, her mom was always more religious. Her dad, she was like the third straight girl, and her dad, like, it seemed like he was hoping for a son, but he was some type of like military, not very high in the organization or whatever. But yeah, he never ended up having a son. She tells you that her mom died, a few years
Oh,
back.
that's awkward. I
Yeah.
like when she says that, I just kind of like shove my mouth with as much food as possible, so I don't have to talk. Like, God, yeah.
And she sort of like doesn't seem to notice. But the gods will take care of her, and it was unfortunate, but well, these things happen. And I think you've got like squirrel cheeks at this point.
Yeah.
But yes, my other sisters are religious as well. One is a religious scholar at the College of the Sun, and the other is she works in various temples, but it's more of volunteer work. Helps the poor a lot. I'm sure she's been very busy.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Buck's like trying to fake a smile, like very interested. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as you guys finish up your meal, they bring out dessert, which is like a very light, fluffy cake with sort of a drizzle of pureed raspberry on top.
Now I'm hungry.
Right? Like it sounds delicious. Travis is
Yeah.
just trying to make us all hungry.
I know. I'm sorry. But yeah, she kind of gets to trying to talk about you a little more, and she sort of asks, so what is your family trying to bring you back for exactly? I would imagine the army of the country is good enough at protecting them. Wine.
Like I said, yeah, family, festivals and stuff.
Well, it's always important to keep in touch. I do try and make it home once every year or so. It's a long enough travel, and I'm only a few
Yes.
cities away.
Long time. Many days of traveling back home. Yes, it takes a while. It's a nice journey by yourself.
By yourself? Well, I certainly hope you meet someone to travel with. To
bind your wounds.
to help, keep you safe. And can you give me whatever you're better at, stealth or sleight of hand?
Shit. Sleight of hand is +4, and stealth is +14.
Okay,
This
there
is
you go.
difficult.
20.
Non-natural.
All right. Yeah, so she doesn't notice that you've been glancing at this elven woman all night, trying to figure out how to use your forks and stuff.
That's good. That's good.
You've averted that disaster.
But that woman's probably not as intent on sipping her wine.
Yeah. So yeah, you I mean, the night kind of wraps up, and so the maitre d' comes over and brings the bill and hands it to you, Buck.
How much is it?
How much is it? What would a fine meal cost? This is the nice thing about the SRD.
Fine meal.
Fine meal.
Yeah, fine meal. So, goods and services.
I'm hoping it's just 5 gold.
Good, common, poor. I would say this is better than good. I
Yeah, I would agree with
would
that.
say banquet per person. So
Damn.
it comes out to about 20 gold.
Per person?
No.
That's total.
Oh, okay.
So 10 per person.
Alright. Not bad.
Did you just say fuck that?
No, I said not bad.
Oh, yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Alright,
So-
just walk out.
So yeah, the bottle gets handed to you, Buck.
Buck sits and thinks about it for a moment and looks at Shoshana and looks back at the bill and then kind of looks at Shoshana again, and she's like she's high up there in the attractiveness, right?
Yeah, she's cute. She's real cute.
Buck pays for it.
Oh no, I was going to treat you. Please.
Very good.
Buck is thinking like, well, if you insist. I'm trying to think, what would Buck's manners make him do? He would probably say, you know, how, you know, I've got this. At least once more.
Oh, please, at least let me pay for mine. I wanted to take you out for a nice dinner and for
Okay.
thanks for. Oh,
wow.
Yes, excellent. And she holds out her hand to like see what the bill was.
I would hand it to her.
Okay.
Buck was just
Yeah.
waiting for her to offer to pay for
Yeah, she looks and you see her eyes like go a bit wide and go up like. Yes. Splitting it. Yes. Excellent. Here. And
This,
she hands it.
can I tell if she like if she goes pale, like I can't afford this type, you know, like reaction?
She's like pulling out her money bag as she hands the thing back to you. But yeah, you can see she was surprised at how much it cost.
Surprised in a bad way? Can I tell?
I wasn't pleased about it.
Yeah.
But
No,
I can't tell
only
if she's
10
like,
gold.
is she broke? Like, I don't know. She doesn't fight stuff like I do.
Yeah, so she seems to be like pulling out and counting out money as though she thinks she has enough. But she seemed to be surprised at how expensive it was too. So
Okay. I would let her pay for her half, but later in the evening I'd probably try and sneak back her half to her at some point.
okay, yeah, you see her
So I feel
counting
bad.
out her half, and eventually it's like 4 gold, and then she's counting out silver.
Yeah, I would surprise her later with her half back then.
Okay. Yeah, so she counts it out and puts that amount in a small pouch and says, "Here, put your half in with it, and we can just pay together."
Yeah, absolutely. So I would like, you know, take out my big ass like money pouch because
Wham! Just land on the table.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
so I'm just gonna subtract 20 from my character sheet right now because I will be
Sure.
giving back to her.
Sure.
So I have plenty left.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And I think as you're like exiting and walking back, why don't you give me a sleight of hand check to, like, you know, give it back to her without her noticing.
Oh, I would do it later, in the inn.
Okay.
But I can roll now.
Yeah. Why don't we roll? Well, let's do it then.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys are walking back at night. And she kind of says, "Oh, do you want to stop off for a drink? I mean, I guess we can get one when we're back at our inn."
Why don't we go see what everyone's up to at the inn? You know, it's getting late, and I always worry about Dorian in the evening. Sometimes I like mimic drinking
Yeah.
and like kind of give like a.
Well, honestly, with that snout of his, who can blame him? And she giggles.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's best that we check in on him and make sure no one's tried to kill him yet.
Is that a common thing?
Says the one who
Occasionally.
started the fight
Yeah.
with the dwarves.
Yeah. There's a meaningful pause. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So why don't we actually take a quick break?
Yeah. Let's do,
And you guys head back to the inn.
guys, we're doing our final break. Hang tight for 5 minutes. We'll be back for the rest of tonight's show.